The latest chapter of One Piece called Ragnir chapter 1171 just dropped, and it's absolutely insane because there's a lot to talk about and we're finally out of the flashback. Woo! And in the very beginning of this chapter, we start with literally the last crumbs of the flashback that leads us to the present. And in these crumbs, we discover already a lot of information as well. And we see all of the destruction that Harold caused in the West Castle. And Gaban is over there talking about how damaged everything is. And he's like, I don't know how we made it, but we actually made it. And they won over King Harold and everything. And Gaban is also stipulating that he had a terrible vision if, for example, King Harold had escaped with the devil fruit, the legendary devil fruit, and he would have probably caused a whole mayhem around the world of One Piece. So that's why he's still like, I don't know how we made it, but we did. Thank God. And even Gaban with Shanks are asking Yarul, who still has, the sword in his head, basically, and they're asking him, did you know that the treasure of Elbaf had such extreme powers and everything? And Yarul is like, I had no idea. I just knew about the legendary devil fruit. I didn't know nothing about it no more. And now Shanks is also thinking of everything that happened, thinking of the discussions he had with his biological dad in Marijois, and how Saint Garling actually was telling Shanks, oh, forget about all those low lives people that you actually lived with, forget about all these peasants and everything, you are noble, you are royal, you are everything, and you deserve everything. And at the same time, he also has a flashback with King Harold, where King Harold believed so much in the world government and believed so much that by literally allying himself to the world government, he would make the whole situation of Elbaf secure and good to go. But actually, he was getting played from the start. And at that time, Shanks is literally grabbing on his arm, the arm that has the mark of Imu and all of that. And he's literally doing the same thing as Nami did in the very beginning of the story, where, for example, Nami also had the mark of the Arlong pirates, and from all the desperation that she had in that situation, she was literally stabbing her own tattoo. So literally Shanks was in the same emotion in a way where he would have literally got rid of it right there at that point in time. But Gaban is also there to remind him. Gaban tells him that it's actually not Shanks's fault, because Shanks is saying, why did it happen to the king-hearted King Harold and all of that? It shouldn't have happened to him. Like, if anybody, not King Harold, and he despises everything and even himself at that point. And Gaban says, that's your bad habit again. Don't you dare regret your birth, because now he's even regretting his birth. And he's telling him also about, why did King Harold have to die? He was too pure-hearted, if only. But Gaban is like, yeah, it's not your fault, and you know it. Yeah, it's not his fault, because even before Shanks even made it to Elbaf, King Harold already had made the second contract with Imu. So even if anything, he couldn't have helped nothing. Maybe by getting rid of the arm that's actually attached to King Harold that has the mark of Imu by, cutting it or whatever, maybe that would have helped. No one knows. But at that same time, we can also see how Loki was completely not destroyed physically, but emotionally, because he had to literally end his own father. And he says this is what he gets for loving his country. It's a cruel joke. And as he says that, you see literally King Harold on the floor, and you literally just see a set of legs. You don't see the upper body. So you basically understand that all of his upper body got demolished and destroyed by Loki. But then we jump into Marijua. And Marijua, we get to see the discussion in between Imo and the Gorosei talking about everything that happened. And Imo is like, what the hell? He already had the second contract and he was in the covenant and everything. So he was super powerful. He was even a monster with Conqueror's Haki and everything. And he was a giant and everything. So literally a true monster of power. And Imo does not understand what happened to him and who might have defeated him on Elbaf, and Imo is like, what's going on in Elbaf? Who is in Elbaf? And the Gorosei are like, yeah, we shall investigate. We shall go and send our knights and see what's going on. And Imo is like, no, 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 don't do that. Don't do that. It will just cost us more of our knights if they end up literally dying. And why? Because apparently Imo is saying that she feels something, or it cost Imu something when a knight is actually defeated. So maybe it is one of the potential ways to actually defeat Imu. Maybe. I just believe that when Imu actually makes a contract with somebody in her covenant and becomes one of the 13, for example, I believe that the number 13 is the number of maximum of people that she can actually bestow some of its powers too. So I believe that when Imo makes you a member of the covenant, she actually gives you a part of her own power. And so by destroying that part of that power, the main body will lose like 10-20% of its power or something like that. Maybe that's a possibility. And so by destroying all of the knights, maybe Imo will destroy like 80% of it, all of its powers, and now it's left to 20% Emu or something like that. And they are talking about how of a great possibility they had in King Harold, because it never happened before, that a giant or a king of the giants actually wanted to become the allies of the world government or even become their slave, from what King Harold said. And they're saying here, an ancient giant king of Elbaf who agrees to the covenant is a gift to Mu, the likes of which shall not be seen again. He was a king that Elbaf never should have had. And see what came of it. History does not lie. Our kinds are incompatible. And then Imu says, never forget that Elbaf is D. So from there, poof, mic drop. We go like, okay, so they don't know probably their own history. We are checking into Elbaf. I'm like, okay, do people have even a last name? Do they even know that they have a last name? For example, when you think of King Harold, Harold has one name. You don't have King Harold something. Like, it's not Monkey D. Luffy or Scoper Gaban, like they don't have no personal family name. And so maybe that the actual mysterious name of all of the giants that they don't know is something related with the D clan again. And maybe that in Elbaf there's actually multiple clans of the D clan, because when you get to a specific branch, there's the giants that do a specific kind of job. When you get to another branch, you get to a whole different kind of giants and everything. So you see the disparity in the whole thing. And even when you go out of Elbaf and you see, okay, are there giants outside of Elbaf? Well, yeah. For example, you've got Sol, and Sol has a D in his name. So that's why I'm saying that maybe the history of the people on Elbaf got totally destroyed and they actually forgot about the name that they have, and that the fact that they are D members, and the fact that Emu could have controlled a part of those D members, meaning the whole D clan members and everything. Emu literally was saying, by controlling the giants, you will control who wins the war. So literally Emu messed it up for herself right there. But I guess they were truly incompatible for reasons, and the reasons are, you saw what happened. King Harold wanted peace and Emu wanted war. And then we move on again to what's going on in Elbaf. And now we are back to right after what happened at the fight in the castle and everything. And we have a discussion in between Loki, Yarul, Gaban, Shanks, and all of the rest of the giants that actually survived the fight. And they're actually talking about what they're going to be doing next. Because what King Harold wanted was that Loki eats the legendary devil fruit of Elbaf, and then for him to become the king, and so that he tells the whole people of Elbaf what truly happened and everything, and they will accept him as a hero. But Loki does not look at it that way. Loki is like, yeah, I already have a bad reputation, and it's gonna sound very bad if I come out as the new king and I claim that, oh, he did this and that King Harold did this and did that, and that's why I had to kill him, and now I am the new king or whatever. But with Loki's reputation of always doing shit left and right, and people even just saying, oh, it's Loki who did it, and all of that, like maybe sometimes not even doing shit, but people claim that he did it, sometimes even with no proof. And in this case, apparently it was going to be the same thing, and that's why Loki was like, you know what, I am going to the sea, and I'm actually gonna go against whoever did this to his own father, King Harold, and he is also taking all of the royal guards that still survived after the whole fight, basically. And at the same time, Loki tells everybody in that room, don't say a word. Don't say a word to anybody about what happened in this castle, and people are just gonna blame it on Loki, because to Loki, what's most precious is what King Harold was trying to fight for, meaning a peaceful Elbaf where everybody can thrive, and not just keep on fighting left and right for territory or for food or for whatever they need. And so that's why Loki wanted to protect that memory of King Harold that people have in their mind, meaning he was the king who was trying to make everything better and everything, and just not to like throw away everything that he did, and just so that the giants start on really not accepting the world as it is, and maybe starting to hate even humans again, to the point where they will go and start destroying everything. That's why Loki decided what he decided, meaning not saying anything to anybody. And that's understandable and very noble at the same time, but he went through a lot and a lot of hardship through his life. But those hardships at the same time are what made him the man that he will become, next to Joy Boy and everything. And so that's why even Yarul from that day was protecting him and always going against the fact that they have to literally kill Loki. And he was always against it, and no one understand why. Even Hajrudin was like, I don't understand why, but now even Hajrudin understand, and he understood what truly transpired and what happened to his dad, King Harold, and he understands now who is the true enemy in this whole story. And with his crew, they are now all ready to defend their country and to literally do everything they can so that the wish of King Harold keeps on going for a peaceful world. They will discover a new way to have it, but they will protect their country. And at the same time, Hajrudin is there, and he goes to his brother Loki and he tells him, I am sorry. And he releases him from his shackles, and Loki is finally free. And Luffy is the most happiest person ever, because Luffy has been waiting for Loki to get released so that he can see what he can do in real life. And the chance literally came running, because right at that point in time, literally one of those creatures that were created from the imagination of the kids came down, and that creature is literally so big that it is toppling a whole mountain, and you can see the sizes of, for example, even some of the characters, Loki and all of that, versus that creature. Loki is still small compared to that big ass creature that just appeared, but Loki got it. He's taking Ragnir in his hand and he makes it jump. And he goes to that creature and he uses the power of that Ragnir, and poof, And literally, you can see the creature cracking. And from there, it's the end of the chapter. Crazy chapter, just like I told you guys. And from that punch, you understand all the powers that are bestowed on Loki, basically, and how much his damage he's gonna be doing up there in the next chapters. At the same time, we still did not get the transformation of Loki. We did not even get the transformation of Ragnar, no nothing. We literally just got a scene of Loki literally jumping, grabbing on with Ragnar, and blah, you know. And at the same time, Sanji actually came back to escort Gaban with Chopper and everything all the way back up because Gaban is scared of what might happen to his son, you know. And so hopefully everything will go for the best. The battlefield is literally calling for them, and basically the mayhem is about to start. We are in the present One Piece. We are with our most favorite characters, so let's go for the fight. And I'm planning to actually make a video talking about who is gonna be fighting who in the world, in the fight basically that's about to happen right now in ELBAF. So don't forget to check that one out too. So on that note, thank you for staying until the end of the video. Don't forget, your boy, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what do you think of all of this chapter. If I missed something, let me know down in the comments below. On that note, peace.